It's unreciprocated validation or attention. You're doing all this shit for her, she's not giving back. And that's what most guys deal with when they deal with women. They deal with this asymmetrical relationship dynamic with women where they're investing significantly more into this relationship than she is. Okay? And smart guys are aware of this, idiots are not. As a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. The way to identify a simp, quite literally, is by how aware you are of this dynamic. Again, a simp defined is a man who gives unreciprocated attention, validation, time, energy, resources, whatever, to a woman that isn't giving something back that's a functional equivalent. Okay? Now, what makes you a simp versus not a simp is a guy that is a simp isn't aware of this dynamic. A guy that has his shit together and has game, like to answer brother's question before, he understands how to match what she's giving. So, for example, he brings her on a date, right? He goes low investment, maybe a coffee date. She's not interesting, she's not cool, he doesn't like her, whatever, but he decides, you know what, let me take this girl to a nice dinner. Despite the fact that she hasn't earned it, she hasn't proven herself, she hasn't done anything not good for you, you're going to take her to a nice dinner. A smart guy would go on that date, coffee date, low investment, be like, okay, this girl isn't really interesting, and I don't like her. Okay? And then he's got two decisions. A, he just tries to quickly sleep with her and kick her to the side of the road. Or B, he just cuts it off. But the point is that he's able to quickly identify that this girl is not reciprocating and is useless, and he makes a game time decision right there and then. A simp is not able to do this. The simp will continue pouring time and attention because they think, okay, they think female attraction is based on equity. Okay? So guys, pay attention. This is shit that your father will never teach you, your fucking brother's never gonna teach you. This is some life-saving shit. Simps think female attraction is based on equity. So in other words, the more I put in, the more I should get out. No, it's not how it works. It's the opposite of that. You have to give less a lot of the times to get more from them. Okay? Because they will take whatever you give them. And it's your job to identify when you need to cut that off. They're not going to tell you, hey, you know what, stop sipping on me. I don't really like you like that. No, they're going to continue to take the free dinners. They're going to continue to take free trips. They're going to continue to take your time. They're going to continue to take your attention. They're going to continue to make you their emotional tampon where they complain to you about Chad. So it's your job to be able to identify this shit quickly. Quickly. Okay? This is quite literally what differentiates a simp from a pimp. The pimps understand this dynamic on an intimate level. The simps don't. Pimps understand equity with women means nothing. Simps don't understand this concept. Guys, there is no such thing as equity with women. Oh, I did all this shit for her. What the fuck? I'll give you guys a perfect example right now. As you guys know, Jack Doherty, right? Famous YouTuber, TikToker, etc., right? He broke up with his girl, Michaela. And she brought the cops to his house to take her stuff out, right? Broke up with him randomly. And throughout the interaction where she goes in to take her stuff and the cops are there, he's saying, what the fuck? After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? You know, I put you on, got you a bunch of money, took care of you, like blew up all your social media, right? But what Jack doesn't understand, and a lot of young men don't understand this, is there's no such thing as building equity with women, okay? It's all about their feelings. They're not going to sit there and say, damn, he really did take care of me when I was down. Damn, he really did protect me from this guy that tried to burglarize the house. Damn, he really did do X, Y, Z. There's no equity, okay? Women don't have the same sense of loyalty that men do and righteousness. They don't, okay? They just don't. This is why, another uncomfortable reality, they're able to monkey branch to another individual, to another guy so easily. You guys ever wondered why women are able to get over a relationship so quickly? How they're able to just monkey branch to the next guy, not even give it a thought? Meanwhile, the guy's heart is broken and they just are cold-blooded? You guys ever wonder why? I'll tell you why. It's a biological imperative, my friends. Okay, it's called Briffel's Law. Basically, once the man stops providing value to her, she's going to end the relationship, okay? The formation of the relationship and the existence of the relationship is basically based on the female's needs, and if they're still being met. If they're not, the relationship more than likely will end. Because like I've told you guys before, women are professional and biological resource extractors. If they're no longer able to extract from you, the time is ticking and they will leave. And this is a very uncomfortable reality that we don't teach young men. This guy doesn't know this. He doesn't understand this concept. He's going to learn soon, though. Right? Guys a lot of times got to get their fucking burned or stuck in a cookie jar for them to understand this concept. But there is no equity with women. Men, it's different, right? Like, guys do have more of a sense of loyalty, right? This is why women almost never hold long-term friendships. You guys notice that shit? You guys notice that? Here, I'll show you guys what Briffel's Law is, because some of you guys might have never heard of this concept. Right here. Briffel's Law, also known as Briffel's Law of the animal family, states that in animal society, the female, not the male, determines the conditions of family life. This means that if the female doesn't see a benefit in associating with the male, no such association will occur. Okay? One more time, repeat after me, stupid fucks. This applies. Burn this into your brain, guys. Briffel's Law, also known as Briffel's Law of the animal family, states that in animal societies, the female, not the male, determines the conditions of family life. This means that if the female doesn't see a benefit in associating with the male, no such association will occur. In essence, the female's needs and preferences dictate the social structure and relationships within a species. Okay? You guys got to burn this shit into your brain. Okay? This law right here is going to keep you from simping. This law right here is going to aware you on how women really move. Okay? So when they break up with you and you're sitting there crying, wondering why are they so cold-blooded? Why does she not give me another chance? What the fuck? I've done everything. Kind of like Jack was before. He doesn't understand Briffel's Law. He just doesn't. Now going back to the whole female loyalty thing and friend thing. This is why women typically don't have long-term friendships. Have you guys noticed that? You guys ever noticed that? That like girls go through friends like fucking underwear? Right? Guys, you see your old buddy? It's like nothing ever changed. You guys are watching fucking Dragon Ball Z. You guys are playing basketball. You guys are doing all the same shit that you guys did in your childhood. Not much changes, right? With men. We're able to maintain long-term friendships a lot of the times, right? Not every time, but a good amount of us have contact with some of our childhood friends. Women don't have this, though. A lot of them are unable to maintain relationships with friends over a period of time. And it comes to this Briffel's Law thing, actually. Because they don't just exercise Briffel's Law with men, they also exercise it on other females. Okay? And since women are keenly aware of this reality, okay, they end relationships with these girls. How many times have you guys heard? Girl meets some friends, the friends use her. Oh, they only hang out with me because I got connections at the club and we go to the club. Or they only talk to me when they want something. Or we only do anything in this situational social circle, right? Or I have more guy friends because I don't like girls. They're really snaky and, catty, right? You guys have heard this probably hundreds, if not thousands of times. And it comes back to this Briffel's Law. Since women are keenly aware of how other women behave and how they extract resources, it rubs a lot of them the wrong way. And they don't want to be an idiot like a man and be put in the friend zone, so to speak, where they're giving all this value, not getting anything in return. The difference between men and women is women are smart enough to spot this and quickly cut that friendship off. Versus men, since they think with their dicks and they want to get laid, they don't cut the friendship off. And they continue to allow the woman to siphon value from them. But other women don't let this happen. This is why they never fucking keep friendships a lot of the times. I gave you guys a story last time, but I want to give this story one more time. We got 7,000 plus you guys in here. So let me tell you guys a story because it's very important so you guys understand. Let's go down memory lane. There's this girl I know, right? And she has a friend from her old hometown out of somewhere up north, Michigan, some shit like that. And periodically, this girl comes and visits her down here in Miami. And when she comes and visits her down here in Miami, they party, they go out, they do dinners, they do all this shit, right? She shows her around the city, they hang out. And the girlfriend always comes and stays at her house, so she doesn't have to pay really for, housing, food, none of that shit. It's all kind of covered to a degree, right? And one time it happens, no big deal. 2 times, 3 times, whatever. So one day, or on one of these trips, girl comes down and stays with her. The girl that I know, We'll call her Jane. Okay? Jane. So, the friend from up north, who we'll call Finesser. So the Finesser comes down and hangs out with Jane. Stays there for a few days, etc. They go out to eat. They go to the clubs, boats, whatever. And what ends up happening is Jane has to cover a couple of her dinners, right? Oh, sorry, I don't have money. Can you cover this? Blah, blah. So one lunch turns into a dinner, turns into a breakfast, then paying for another dinner, etc. Right? Then things come to a head when she goes out to party, to meet up with a guy, and leaves Jane kind of at the apartment and takes her fob. So she takes the fob to get into the building and goes out with this fucking guy, kind of ignores her friend, leaves Jane there. The Finesser leaves Jane there. And Jane is pissed. So like a day or two later, some shit like that, I was talking to her about something else. And then she brought up this story. You know, I bring this girl down. I show her a good time. You know, I take her out to go get food. There's a bunch of times where she didn't have money and I covered it, right? Like I'm out like $300. She didn't pay me back. She promised she would pay me back. She didn't. I set her up. She stayed at my house for free. She took my fob, all this shit, right? And as she's telling me this story, right? Because we're on the phone, right? As she's telling me this story, I'm smiling. I'm literally smirking, chat. Right? And I was like, you know, just in my head, like, okay. And I'm just like listening, right? So I let her vent for a little bit. And I go, sucks, doesn't it? She's like, yeah, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, congratulations. Now you feel what it's like to be a fucking man. Silence on the phone. Easily 5 to 10 seconds. Awkward. I ain't gonna lie to y'all niggas. And she awkwardly asked me, what? And I was like, yeah. How does it feel to be a man? She's like, what? I was like, yeah. What you're experiencing right now is like 1/10 of what guys deal with every fucking day with women. And bro, it was literally mind blown. Mind blown. Mind blown. And she goes into like almost like a fit of rage. She was like, what? If I was a guy, I would never date these fucking bitches. Fuck. And she likes, you know, says some choice words. If she was a guy. She's like, how the fuck do you guys deal with this? And I said, this is what it is. This is what it is when men deal with women. We deal with women from the extent where they are there to extract from us. You got 1/10 of it. That's not even that bad what you're dealing with. Imagine being out thousands of dollars. Imagine out being out hours of time, days of time, months of time, years of time. You're just pissed off over $100 or $200 and a fob. Meanwhile, dudes are out here losing millions and emotional damage. And she couldn't fucking believe it, chat. She couldn't believe it. And I think, like, in this rare instance, when I pointed out to her, this is what men deal with, and she was able to finally attribute the pain that she was feeling at that moment, right? Because you guys know women run the world through how they feel. Once I pointed to her, this feeling is what men endure all the fucking time. It was probably the first time in her life that she was able to empathize with a man. I famously say on this podcast all the time, women lack empathy. And when I say they lack empathy, don't conflate that with lacking sympathy. They can absolutely feel sorry for you as a man, but they will never understand your struggle as a man. They'll never be actually empathetic, because when women deal with other women, it's very difficult for them to deal with them from the perspective that men do, from this extraction standpoint. Okay? But when they do get a taste of it, they cut that bitch off immediately. But they never stay in it and endure it long enough like we do to truly understand it. So once I personified it to her and showed her, this is how it's actually manifested in the feeling that you're feeling, this fit of rage, this fit of feeling used, this fit of feeling like an object, right? Like a fucking ATM. This is how men are treated by women all the fucking time. And she couldn't fucking believe it, chat. She couldn't believe it. So why do I tell you guys this story? I tell you guys this story so that you understand, number one, simping is dangerous. Number two, women will use you as long as you let them. And then number 3, they don't give a fuck. They do it to each other. You don't think they're going to do it to you too and go for as long as they can? See, at least with other women, they're smart enough to identify it and leave immediately. Like she did. She cut that bitch off. They're not friends no more. But men are stupid. They'll sit there and stay friends with a bitch like that, thinking they're going to get laid. That's one of the biggest differences between men and women. If a woman gets put in a simp position like this, they wake up pretty quick and say, fuck that bitch, and they cut their losses. Men, on the other hand, you dumbass niggas try to build more equity. Thinking that you're going to be able to get a return on your investment, not knowing that you're dumping your money into something that's a bottomless pit that will never get you what you're looking for. Or, worse yet, by the time you're able to actually collect, and she does give you the pussy, she's 40 years old, no longer hot. Waste of time. She decides to entertain you when her value is plummeted. You put thousands of dollars into a stock that's now worth $50, and you're trying to collect your $50 when you've lost thousands in the process. That is what it's like to be in the fucking friend zone with women. And also, this displays how women will not tolerate their own fuckery when it's put on them, which is very eye-opening. And that's why I tell you guys this fucking story. To teach you guys, number 1, don't be a simp. Number 2, women don't know what we go through. And then number 3, when they do get a taste of it, they leave immediately because they're smart enough to know the extractionary persona that a lot of women exude. Yo, we cooking tonight, chat. We really are cooking. You guys are getting like a masterclass in female nature. You guys are absolutely getting a masterclass in female nature. Nobody's going to break this shit down to this level, guys. Because the thing also is that, look, I like Dr. David Buss. I like Jordan Peterson. I like a lot of these guys, right? But the problem with a lot of these academics when it comes to female nature is they're going to talk to you guys from an academic perspective and like a clinical perspective, but they're not going to give you guys the actual practicality of how it works in the modern day world. They're just not. They're just not. They're going to say shit like women are attracted to men at the top of the hierarchy, right? They'll say something like that. But then what I'll tell you is women want a motherfucker that got some clout and has other women that want him. When he walks into the club with 10 girls, he's going to instantly be attractive. So Peterson, Buss, Chris Williamson, these guys, these like, more academic type dudes, they'll tell you what it is from a clinical perspective, but they're not going to be able to manifest that for you guys in real-time application. That's my job. My job is to give you guys the academic perspective, but then spin it back and show you guys how it's actually applied. And this is critical. So when people like Joe Rogan talk about the manosphere negatively, or Chris Williamson has some other retard bashing the red pill, but he won't bring me or Rolo on because I don't know what the fuck, because he brings all these other people on that just constantly bash us. The reality is that guys like me and him are able to blend the academic with the practical for today, and then bam, how you marry the two. Because having the academic background, but not understanding how it's used from a contemporaneous perspective is useless. It's like you have 50% of the pie and you don't have the other 50% here to merge it together. Right? Like you need the fucking, you guys play Legend of Zelda back in the day? You need the Triforce, motherfucker. Okay? You need the academic perspective alongside the practical perspective and then the application perspective. You need all three together. That's how you get the fucking Triforce of understanding these hoes. They're only giving you one side. They're only giving you one side, bro. We can't fight Ganondorf with just one of the fucking triangles. What the fuck does this look like? You guys need the contemporaneous application of this shit.